Hey, hey!
Are we back?
We are.
We're back. With some 1980s Gibson quirkiness. It's very quirky.
It is. It's a curiosity, Phil.
What
It's
is
a
it then?
curious curiosity. It's a Gibson, Phil.
Yes.
Don't believe me? Look.
Gibson Superstrat.
Oh yes.
Very weird.
USA. And all
Weird,
that.
wild, and...
Metally.
yeah.
And black and stealthy.
Yeah.
And dark.
Hmm.
And pointy.
This is called the Q3000, or Alpha Q series. So,
Yep.
They come out in 1985. They did 4 models in this series. They did a Q1000, which is 1 single coil pickup. The Q2000, which was 2 pickups.
You know what I feel like right now, Phil?
What's that?
I feel like an auction sales room guy, and I'm holding a Venus de Milo, and you're pointing out its
Its
merits.
features?
Yeah.
Well, you have to point the features
No, that's
out.
good. No,
because
no,
it's
I'm the
very
auction.
quirky.
I'm the auction room guy.
Yeah.
Go on, you keep pointing.
Right, and then this one's a Q3000, so
Ladies and
you have
gentlemen.
3 P90 pickups. And then there was the Q4000, who was played none other by, or it was actually created for, Neil Sean.
That's right, Neil Sean from Journey. That's
It
right.
had the humbucker and then 2 single coils.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very odd guitar. Gibson brought out a lot of odd guitars in the late 70s.
They were terrified and
and the
confused.
80s, yeah. I mean, you know, people may have heard of the Marauders,
Mhm.
the S1s.
The Morel, I do remember the Morel. Yeah, that's right. That was another ugly kind of looking.
There's a
kind of
Les
thing.
Paul
Yeah.
flat body with a flying V headstock.
Ugh. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
With
And there was a night wing, a night swan, or a night owl.
there was yeah.
No, that's another
there
thing,
is
isn't
a
it?
lot of
Oh, yeah, there's
of
failures.
failures.
Absolute, well, noble failures in some
Yeah.
cases, like the US one.
Yes. Well, we'll go through the history of Gibson Superstrats throughout the 80s.
We will.
Okay. So the first one was the Gibson Victory in 1982, which was actually the same body shape as this.
Which you had for a while, didn't you?
I had one of those
Yeah.
for a while, and it had
Horrible headstock, didn't have that?
yeah, very
Yeah.
very similar to a Firebird headstock.
Beautifully made though. Great,
Well,
great pickups.
It was all made
yeah.
out of
Mhm.
rock maple, so
Yeah.
Canadian rock maple, the whole guitar.
Yeah, that's
so it was
right,
a
that's
weighty
right.
beast.
It was indeed.
But it was called the Victory MXV or multi-voice 10. Had
Oh yeah, that's right. It had all these kind of crazy.
switches
Switches
and,
going on,
and
yeah.
that. Some of those came out with factory Kahlers, so that's why I would say that is the first Gibson Superstrat as such.
Indeed.
Then there was the Alpha Q series in '85. Then the next one that come along 1 year later was Wayne Shelvell was working for
All right,
Gibson.
Wayne Shelvell. Yes, yes. That's right.
And for some reason, I don't know how that even
What
come
year was
about.
that?
1986.
So after his own company was kind of, remember he was around the 83, 84?
Early 80s, yeah.
So what, he closed down Shelvell and kind of...
I don't know what the story was there. It was one model called the WRC, and it had his body shape that had a headstock, like they called the Batwing headstock. And on the headstock it had WRC on the truss rod cover and a little sticker that said Gibson. And I know they were actually made in Wayne Shelvell's shop, and Gibson gave them a little sticker. They were an oddity. The next one is the US one.
That's right.
I like
that one. I like that one.
It was
I
a
did like that one.
beautiful, well-made guitar, maple top, mahogany back. They actually used balsa wood in that construction.
Yeah. that's right.
Gibson had the hide to call it chromite.
Love it.
What the hell does that mean? I don't know. They also used this substance called chromite in their Les Paul Studio Light series. So when they took out the cavities here to lighten the body, they then put in the chromite. And the reason for that is to keep the body light, and I would say it's maybe to stop feedback.
Right. So it's basically, looks wise, it was like Gibson Les Paul meets a Jackson Soloist on a dark night, and they have a baby. That's basically it.
It was
Yeah,
a beautiful
yeah.
flame.
It was like a
flame
Jackson
top.
Soloist meets a Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah.
It was actually beautiful.
And it had some with Kahlers and some with your normal Les Paul hardtail.
Yeah, that's right. And you had the hardtail, didn't you?
I had the hardtail.
Yeah.
Lovely 60s Gibson style neck, really, thin neck on it. Playability was a beautiful guitar. They also at that time brought out one called the U2, which was like that, but it was just a basswood body. It had solid red or solid black. The first one's come out with this headstock, the pointy one, and then the next one had the Explorer headstock. Then after that, there was actually one more series of Superstrat. I know Gibson tried again in about 92, and it's
Poor
called
Gibson, 92. Oh my god, when they completely missed the boat.
Exactly, it's called an M3, and it's this shape which sort of goes up like a big wing.
Yeah.
Normal Les Paul body and this funny sort of crescent moon sort of shape, and
sounds hideous.
Yeah, I mean, if you look them up on Google, M3, they're not a pretty guitar.
Oh dear, dearie me.
So, you know, Gibson unfortunately have never had a successful Superstrat.
Certainly not.
I mean, they're quirky looking guitars. This one could have been a leftover bodies from the Victory series, and
possibly,
Gibson thought, what are we going to do with them?
Yeah.
We'll put on a Jackson headstock and
pointy, has to be pointy.
Exactly, and try to make it work.
And make it black, because a lot of the soloists are black as well. But no, like if you were to ask me what I like about this guitar, Phil.
What do you like about this guitar, Dan?
It's so funny you asked me that, Phil. Well, I'm going to tell you. I actually like the playability. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a finely built guitar. I just don't like the horns. They don't do it for me. They look like they were just, I don't know, just...
It's an odd shape.
It's, yeah.
I mean, obviously Gibson was trying to, originally when they did the Victory, was trying to copy the Strat. You know, Strats again was selling big in the 70s, Les Paul's not so much.
It's so black. Everything's black. It's a cool, again, like with the Kahler, it has that Slayer-esque...
like a stealth guitar.
Metally, kind of thing. Bad horsey. That kind of thing going on, but it's... I find it... Don't take offence here, Phil. I find it quite an ugly guitar. Please don't take offence. This is a beautiful guitar, and this is what beauty looks like.
This is called
this
opinions.
Is beauty. Very good. That's a beautiful guitar, and this would be an ugly guitar, like that's Cinderella, and that's one of the sisters.
And it's quirky cousin.
Yeah, it's a quirky, weird cousin that lives upstairs in the attic.
Yeah, unfortunately,
fed fish heads.
Are you going to give it some
I'm going to give it some Slayer-y vibe, because the Kahler is Slayer and Slayer is Kahler, so here we go. Quite horsey, and it's lovely for that kind of thing.
Well, isn't it funny in the 80s that Gibson went Kahler? You know, where...
Well, Kahler was the first commercially available.
Yeah.
Floyd Rose, if you think about Def Leppard 83, Pyromania and all that sort of thing, Kahler's everywhere. Kahler's on the Ibanez Destroyers. Kahler's, you didn't see Floyd Rose's. Even George Lynch on the Tooth and Nail album, I could be wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, but there was a Kahler on the back on his I don't know what it was like a generic Superstrat.
Right.
But Kahler's kind of made their impression. They got in the gate first before Floyd Rose.
Right.
So Floyd Rose had a patented stamped metal kind of, if you know what I mean, a cheaper to make product.
Yeah, yeah.
Kahler's, I was told this once and I can't remember the exact number, but there's something like 190, maybe even more, movable parts in a Kahler tremolo system.
That's amazing.
Floyd Rose, I don't know, much less I think. And also you've got these beautiful brass balls here. You've got a lot of expensive, you know, it's an expensive system.
And the one thing I know about the Kahler, which I think is better than the Floyd Rose, is if you break a string, you can still play it. Where if you break a string on the Floyd, the whole thing moves
you gotta stop. You gotta close down.
Maybe, you know, I don't know. As I said, Gibson for some reason in the 80s were using Kahlers, and the funny thing about Gibson in the 80s, they put Kahlers on Les Pauls, they put Kahlers on.
Don't forget, Kahlers were more expensive than Floyd's.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's a quality.
Yeah, I remember trying to buy a Kahler years ago.
Right.
In a catalogue in England or somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but the Floyd was like $219. The Kahler was like $390 or something.
Right.
So real significant.
Yeah.
But apparently they're like a really quality system. It's, you know what it reminds me of is the VHS Betamax thing. I'm old.
VHS versus Betamax.
I am
exactly.
old, but Betamax kind of just didn't. Whereas VHS took off. Even though Betamax was meant to be a better system.
Apparently, yeah.
So it's that kind of vibe. Sorry, kids, if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Look it up in the 80s.
Yeah, look it up, yeah. But anyway, it's that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But listen, they're both great systems. I love... How many Floyd Roses do I have on my guitars? About 7? 6, 7?
Too many.
Yeah,
everywhere I look, there's a Floyd Rose.
There's a Floyd Rose everywhere. And even on my Les Pauls, I'm kidding. I'm
on
not,
your R9, did you put one on your R9
now? Sacrilege. I'm not Alex Lifeson. Only he can afford to do that.
Exactly.
But no, the idea of a Floyd Rose and a Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've done it now.
Well, it's what Alex Lifeson has.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's two more interesting points about Gibson in the 80s. The first one is on the back of the headstock on this guitar. If you can read that, it says Custom Shop Edition. Now, back in 85...
That's a lie, Phil.
It's a lie. Gibson never had a custom shop. This is still a Norland guitar. This is before Henry Jesuits and Dave Berryman bought Gibson in, I think, 86. So this is still a Norland era guitar, and what they were doing is, if they brought out a guitar in small numbers, they would call it a custom shop edition, like this 300.
White lie.
Yes, a little white lie.
Yeah.
When they'd pull Gibson Les Pauls off the line, when they started these, you know, sort of first reissues of 1959 Les Pauls, they'd pull them off the line because it may have had a lovely maple top or something.
Oh, okay,
and then they would put custom shop edition and then dress it up to look more like a real 59, even though it was still a short tannin neck. They didn't have anything right on it. So Gibson started doing that in the 80s, using this custom shop edition on the
I did not know that, Phil.
Yeah.
You are a mine of information.
I'm a boring person.
No, you know your Gibsons, man.
And the other interesting thing is, in the 80s, obviously doing the Superstrat thing, they're also putting Kahlers on everything. You know, Les Pauls, they're putting them on SGs. They had like a...
Which is easy to do, because with the Kahler you don't have to route the body.
Yeah.
You have to route the whole body. Like if this was a Floyd, the whole thing would be gone there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why they were so much easier in a way.
That's it.
But
yeah, they had a Gibson Junior with a Kahler and a Explorer headstock. They had an SG with a Kahler and an Explorer headstock. Gibson were just doing all these mad things trying to sell the guitars, but
nothing was working.
Nothing worked.
They had their time. It wasn't their time. They were. It was almost like, get up off the seat and let us sit down now. You know, all the Jacksons and the Kramers, the Hamers, they all came in. It was just I remember, I lived through it. I had long hair and at one stage wore stripy spandex.
Well, you'd have to thank one person.
I can't believe I just admitted that before.
I was just trying to talk
over
that, you know. I was trying to hide it.
Thank you. Hide my shame.
Yes.
Tell him.
If it wasn't for a certain Mr. Soul Hudson that come along in 1987.
Never heard of him. Who's that joker?
Slash.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That's
he saved Gibson's ass.
There'd be no more Les Paul.
Yeah.
You know, the US one was supposed to be the new model taken away from taking away the Les Paul.
And also, we must say Tom Kiefer as well. I mean, in a smaller, definitely smaller role. Yeah. Tom Kiefer.
Yeah,
when even the lead guitarist in
Cinderella.
Thank you, in Cinderella had a Kramer pacer. Do you remember with the guy with the big curly bushy hair?
Yeah.
Who knows who he was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was kind of brownish hair, but he kind of looked Italian. But he had one of those a Kramer pacer with the stars going up and all, and he had the bent single pickup and the spandex and the hair, and it was all that. And Tom, bless him, stood there. And you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Brilliant song.
Oh my god!
Watch the video. Beautiful
my god! He actually uses his
59, real 59 Les Paul in it.
There you go.
He should have got some credit for it.
Well, Cinderella were massive, and I remember in '88 when they came out, because I was actually pen paling this girl in America, and she was going, "Is this band called?" No, it could be American accent. It's this band called Cinderella, and I said, "Who? What? What are they?" You know, and and you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And also there was something Road. What was that other song?
Gypsy Road.
Gypsy Road. They did great. That was a great album.
They had great songs.
And yeah, Tom, bless him, he never succumbed to pointiness.
Yeah.
He was Gibson all the way.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And I can think of a few else at the time.
There is, well, you
know who else?
Dio.
Wow, no.
Campbell.
No.
He was a closet Gibson.
Yeah, well, that's even worse. He was a
hid it.
traitor then. That's actually horrible. Vivian Campbell, apparently, used a Les Paul on the Holy Diver sessions. But he was endorsed by... I actually am coughing.
Charvel?
Yeah, Charvel. I actually am coughing. He was endorsed by Charvel, and as we said in other videos, he had beautiful Charvels with the album covers done on them, spray painted, beautiful, gorgeous. But he was actually a closet Gibson, Les Paul guy. So that's even worse. That's even worse, like.
It is, yeah.
But well, maybe he had no choice. You know, maybe he had to sign a contract. You've got to be seen with this, and you get free this. So, yeah, who knows? Yeah. But there was another guy. Oh yes, Steve Jones.
Oh yeah,
Steve Jones
from the Pistols.
Yeah. And from the Pistols. But in 1988, he did an album with Iggy Pop called Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to it, and listen to the first song. It's called Cold Metal, and it's absolutely amazing. The video is awesome. He's there with his white Les Paul custom down to here, and he's rocking it out. And it's a great video. It's a great song, great album. Iggy Pop tried to go metal. Now that's exactly what was happening in the 80s. It was so batshit crazy. Basically, Steve Jones, the greatest punk icon since Sid Vicious, joins Iggy Pop, who's doing a metal album.
Yeah.
That's how nuts it was. Yeah. Metal had taken over the world. The Cult. Billy Duffy, again, another white custom Les Paul player.
Yeah, Gretchen Les Paul.
Yeah, and Gretchen as well. Falcon. Yeah, Gretchen, White Falcon as well. But White Falcon for the first two albums, Dreamtime and Love. But when it went to, what was that breakthrough album?
Electric.
Is it? No, the one we...
yeah, but I'm pretty sure... Is that not Electric?
Is that Electric?
Yeah, Wildflowers.
I can't remember.
Wildflowers.
Yeah, the red one where he's standing like this, what's he got? He doesn't have a Gretsch.
Yeah,
it's the white Les Paul custom, and it looks cool as. So, Les Pauls were still being, used, but not in the numbers.
Becoming cool again. I mean, you know, Randy Rhoads, who,
of course,
Randy Rhoads in the early 80s had the lovely white,
which is actually fascinating because he was starting off. He started off the heavy metal was born in, I think it was August or July, 3 days in July in San Bernardino in California. That was the US Metal Festival.
Right.
That was, do you know how many people were at that festival each day?
Probably 70,000, 80,000, huge numbers.
250,000. Do you know what the lineup was?
No idea.
Motley Crue. Oh, Triumph. Triumph turned up with the SG. Triumph. Is this still a guitar review? Sorry, we'll keep going.
We'll get back on.
We'll get back. We're on the way back. Triumph opened up. Motley Crue. Judas Priest. Oh, Rat. Triumph, Rat, Motley Crue, Judas Priest, Ozzy, and Van Halen.
Right.
I mean, mind blowing.
That is a Metalheads festival.
And that was when metal was huge. Rat were massive. 85, they were huge. 84, they were huge. But before Rat, Quiet Riot. They brought metal with 1982. Bang Your Head. Yeah, and Metal Health was the album. And then they had Come On Feel the Noise, the old Slade cover, which they made a fortune. Went to #1 in America, I think. And again, they were all Wiggly Diddly, Jackson, Pointy, Headstock, Charvel. Rat were the ultimate. One guy was using Charvels, the other guy was using Jacksons. It was just like rock.
It's just when Slash for some reason was Guns N' Roses was commercial. I mean, Sweet Child of Mine was massive. I mean, to me, the biggest guys in the 80s was Slash or Zakk Wylde. When you saw Zakk in Miracle Man with that bullseye Les Paul.
There you go. Yeah, Zakk as well. Another guy flying the flag for Gibson.
Exactly, but it was just Slash had that commercial.
But when Guns N' Roses came out, I saw them in '88 on their very first tour of England, Castle Donington, and it was incredible. But it was nearly the end of the 80s. Like, the 80s, as we call them, would be like Iron Maiden's Iron Maiden album from 1980, all the way up to Ozzy, Diary of a Madman, all that sort of thing, and the Blizzard of Oz, etc. and then that's going into 82,
Yeah.
and then, you know, Judas Priest then hit it huge in America in 83 with the US Metal Festival, you know, with the San Bernardino Festival. I mean, we've watched that video before, the footage, the US video, just
massive, a sea of people, yeah.
And Judas Priest had like number 6 hits and stuff in the charts in America, and they were playing like giant stadium, huge, and metal was, no, people forget how big metal was.
Oh, it was,
you know,
unbelievable.
And we're still living the dream.
We're still living the dream
in our older years.
So if we're living the dream, should we play some metal?
Well,
we'll
try.
We'll try
it out.
something.
Give me something. So satisfying.
I like it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
See you again, guys.